Carl Icahn was generating a lot of news, might have taken us off our highs here because of some of his dire warnings. But the one thing he did say, in this environment, the one thing you can say about desperate times, they call for desperate measures and maybe a desperate turn outside the typical political Petri dish. Take a listen. So it sounds to me like Trump is your candidate.
Oh, he is. I think he's the best by far of any of these guys.
Okay.
He definitely is.
The candidates, and I would include Cruz as the fourth outsider, the candidates of change have an enormous advantage. That doesn't mean they'll win. It's a long, long race to get the nomination. But as of today, they certainly have a net advantage.
All right, what they're both saying is that, if you add up the poll numbers of those who are outside the mainstream, even throwing Ted Cruz in that, Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, of course, Donald Trump, they represent about 70% of the polled support that's out there. Lizzie McDonald, Rich Benjamin, and Cathy Lynn Taylor on that. Cathy Lynn, I mean, it is interesting, isn't it? I mean, the interest is in all these non-traditional candidates.
Yes, the question is not whether an outsider can win. He or she can. The question is whether they should win. We're throwing around this term outsider versus insider, and it's a little bit perplexing. I mean, Ted Cruz is labeled an outsider, but he very much grew up through the Republican establishment. He has a little bit more revolutionary tactics.
Well, I think they call him the crazy senator.
Well, but he's not really an outsider. He's a Republican politician. And so we've gotten to a place where insider versus outsiders is mismatched just pulling out a bad pair of socks in the morning.
All right, but people feel that representative government has failed on the left and the right? Because every time they try one party or the other, they just think, well, we're back to the same old, same old. Now, that anger fades because I think, to Rich's point, we do kind of morph back to tradition. Do you think we'll do the same here?
There's a good argument that slow and steady wins the race. But I think what people are saying versus, relative to outsider versus insider, is they want a tough, strong, principled leader. And this is where someone like Trump runs into a bit of an issue. He and Icahn have been very much, in fact, decidedly inconsistent in their political views over the last 2 decades. And so if conservatives...
So was Ronald Reagan.
Well, this is true. And some people have that Teflon effect, I call it, where President Bill Clinton, where things just roll right off them. Ben Carson is proving to potentially have that. Donald Trump has had it up until now. But ultimately, Republicans and particularly conservatives are going to have to make this very tough decision. Are they going to be issue voters and vote for someone like Donald Trump? Or are they going to vote for someone who will sustain a political philosophy?
Rich, I think
7 people live in poverty in this country right now. Walk into a Starbucks. Right. 1 in 7 people there are in poverty.
But how is the Republican establishment
Why are they going into
fix
Starbucks?
that?
Well, they're not probably.
It's not as though the Republican establishment
like 40
fix
bucks
that.
That's right.
Guys, I wish we had more time, but
Fair
thank you.
point.
There's obviously something going on here.